Welcome to Daily. I'm your host. I've been saying I'll do it for a while, and now we will. We're going to talk about the three aims from delight and power in speech. Since it has been a little bit, let me recap. First, the student must seek ideas and not words. Second, he must seek to classify and organize facts. Third, he must seek to turn his knowledge to some use. To illustrate the first aim, let's take the following lines from Hamlet. Give me that man, that is not passion's slave, and I will wear him, in my heart's core, aye, in my heart of hearts, as I do thee. Shakespeare wished to point out the blessedness of that virtue, independence. It is of little consequence to the pupil in the first step of his growth to make a comparison between Shakespeare's method of expressing this truth with that of Elbert Hubbard, who, speaking of Rowan, that man who delivered an important message to Garcia in the jungles of Cuba when he decided to go to war with Spain, said, "By the Eternal, there is a man whose form should be cast in deathless bronze, and the statue placed in every college of the land. It is not book learning young men need, nor instructions about this and that, but a stiffening of the vertebrae, which will cause them to be loyal to a trust, to act promptly, concentrate their energies, do the thing, carry a message to Garcia." Is not the aim in both cases for the pupil to get the idea which the authors wish to impress upon his mind? In other words, the authors are not simply writing for art's sake, as so many would have us believe. The pupil must get the author's message, so that they will help him in life, to be both independent or free from passion, and reliable or dependable in whatever he undertakes. Now, let us advance to the second step, the second aim. The classification and organization of facts mean more than the simple process of orderly arrangement. This has to do with translating what the author presents to the pupil in terms of his past experience. This is the process of judging values. Before we pigeonhole new information, we pass judgment upon its relative importance. The pupil has experienced the value of punctuality, courage, optimism, etc. Now, when any new truth comes under his observation, it's not turned into knowledge until it's gone through his mental gristmill. Meat grinder, I would say. What he hears or sees or feels is not usable until it has been fitted into its particular niche. And this fitting process is brought about by likening the unknown to the known. So the first one, and I will get to the third one. First one is taking the words and pulling the ideas out. The second is classifying and organizing facts. That's kind of a hobby of mine. There are mind maps out there. There's different software and stuff. I personally use TiddlyWiki. However, there are pure text based things. There's newer stuff such as like Obsidian. I think Notion might do the same thing. If you have Google Drive, I think MindMeister is one. It's essentially a flowchart program where you can tag, and that creates relationships between little bits of knowledge. That's the classification and organizing. That is the meat grinder, or what did he call it? The grist mill. That's a physical manifestation of it. Your brain works that way anyway. All right, now the third step of turning that knowledge to some use. This brings us to the third step. Frederick Harrison has said, "Man's business here is to know for the sake of living, not to live for the sake of knowing." There's no better way of expressing the third step in the development of the student in intelligent reading. After he's learned to grasp the author's thought readily, and then so reacts upon it that it becomes a part of his very being, his next step is to find an open market for the sale of his knowledge. This does not mean to sell for money in the narrow sense, but to put his understanding into actual daily life. That's an interesting one, and I honestly think that I may wind up doing some three aims type things of where I personally can get ideas from, how I categorize them, and classify them and organize them, and then how I use them. Let's see. Off the top of my head, I can say that there was a book called Happy City. It was about urban design. Highly recommended. The ideas that I took out of that book, and it's been years since I've read it, but the ideas that I took out of that book is that cities and everything should be designed with people in mind, not businesses, not commerce. Or not, oh, that would be the primary thing. So I wound up classifying that as a fundamental system-based approach to improving things, improving the life system, whatever. And then how you put that to some use. Well, you can... Let's see, what have I done with it? Pretty much nothing besides intellectually. It's been discussed a lot. It has been throughout my travels noticing aspects of it, even if not mentioned in there, that have a... Oh, we're going to get some rain. That have a legitimate use that winds up with the same thing. Since we have rain... and I'm not going to shout into the microphone, I'm going to take my 5 minutes and enjoy some rain on this roof. Just breathe. Find your gratitude, put words to it. Now, look to your left, look to your right. There's a person there, say those words. And then end it with, pretty grateful for that. Or, go find somebody or post it on the internet or whatever.